to turn your microphone on. Nope, the other one. There you go.
I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Elmwood Mayor and Council for September 20th, 2018.
Please quiet. Thank you.
At 8:01 p.m. On roll call, Councilwoman Ballestieri.
Here.
Burke.
Here.
Dombrowski.
Here.
Giandomenico.
Here.
Pellegrin.
Here.
Golovic.
Here.
Mayor Caramagna.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Would you please stand for the prayer and flag salute? Oh God, our Father, we ask you to bless our meeting, which we entrust to your fatherly care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice from our hearts and implant therein keen sense of justice and greater love for you and our neighbors. Guide us in our deliberations so that our decisions will always please you and bring your peace and happiness to our community. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey requires at the commencement of every meeting a statement of compliance be read by presiding officer. Now therefore be advised that the meeting requirements for this meeting have been met by publishing an annual meeting notice in the Record and the Herald News of Woodland Park, and by posting such a notice in the office of the Borough Clerk as well in a public place within municipal building, and by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted on January 4th, 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is being videotaped. It will be Cablevision channel 77 on Tuesdays, 12 p.m., Thursdays at 9 a.m., and Fridays at 8 a.m. The video is also available on the borough website www.elmwoodparknj.us. Okay, thank you.
Okay, next thing on the agenda are the approval of minutes. June 7th, 2018, work session minutes. June 14th, 2018, work session minutes. July 5th, 2018, work session minutes. July 19th, 2018, regular meeting minutes. August 2nd, 2018, work session minutes. August 2nd, 2018, special public meeting minutes. August 2nd, 2018, executive session minutes. August 16th, 2018, regular meeting minutes. August 16th, 2018, executive session minutes. August 28th, 2018, special work session minutes. August 28th, 2018, executive session minutes. September 6th, 2018, executive session minutes. And September 13th, 2018, executive session minutes.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Mayor, if I may, I'd like to ask if we could hold August 2nd executive minutes and August 16th executive session minutes. I find some discrepancies in there, and I think that the council needs to go through them.
Okay, may I have a motion? Is there a second?
Is that a motion to table?
A motion to table them and bring them up at a later time.
I'll second that.
I just don't understand, sorry, my mic's not working. I just don't understand why they weren't talked about though in the last two work sessions.
I just went over it when I got my agenda, when it was on the agenda now.
We received them a long time ago.
I understand that, but I'm asking to have them be held until the next time we
I
get a
just
chance to
wanted
talk.
to know why you waited a month and two work sessions to bring it up.
No problem.
That's it.
I think your mic's still not working, by the way.
No.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept all the minutes minus August 2nd, 2018 executive session minutes and August 16th, 2018 executive minutes. On roll call, Ballestieri,
Yes.
Burke,
Mayor, I just wanted to let you know I'm only here for the 13th of September. That's the only one I'll be voting to accept. Everything else will be, I'll abstain.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Giandomenico?
No, we have ample time to review it.
Pellegrini?
Yes.
Goloback?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda under resolutions, R 327-18, appoint police officer Matthew Auslander.
May I have a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Resolution 327-18, appoint police officer Matthew Auslander. Be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the following named be and is hereby appointed as a police officer in the Police Department of the Borough of Elmwood Park, Matthew Auslander. Be it further resolved that said appointment is in accordance with the intergovernmental transfer process as proclamated in the New Jersey Civil Service Commission. And be it further resolved that remuneration is set at a rate of $68,731, effective September 20th, 2018. Okay, so we had a first was made by Councilwoman Pellegrini and a second by Councilman Dombrowski. Okay, on roll call, Ballestieri,
I am recusing because my son works for the police department.
Burke,
Yes?
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Giandomenico,
Yes.
Pellegrini,
This isn't working on my...
Pellegrini.
Yes.
Goloback.
Yes.
Motion carries. I ask that Matthew Auslander and his family come up to the dais to be sworn in.
Oh, look how cute.
Ready?
No.
Works?
There you go.
Can you hear me here? Okay, already, huh? Good. Would you state your name? I
I, Matthew Auslander,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments
and to the governments
established
established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
of the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of
of the office of
police officer,
police officer,
according
according
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
I'm allowed to talk. No, it just started working again. Congratulations. If you're gonna say something, start.
Congratulations.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Isn't working?
I guess we have some comments from the council.
Yes. Would you like to say anything?
Sure, without any being recorded, best of luck, congratulations, and be safe. I'm sure you'll serve the town well.
Officer Oslander, I'd just like to say, look around this room, look at the brothers and sisters that are here from not only Elmwood Park, but from your former community. The family that's here, you've come to a department that has a high accreditation. I'm sure you're going to, I sat in on your interview, and I will tell you that you were outstanding then. I know you're going to be outstanding tomorrow. Congratulations and welcome. Thank you. Stay safe.
Congratulations. I was also on the interview with you, and you really stood out. You're very impressive. I wish you much success here in Elmwood Park. Welcome to our team, and please stay safe. And congratulations to you and your family.
Welcome aboard. I wish you a healthy, safe, and long career here in Elmwood Park. You're joining an excellent police force, and welcome aboard.
Congratulations and welcome to Elmwood Park. Enjoy your career and stay safe out there.
Officer, congratulations and good luck. You come highly recommended. We look forward to your addition starting soon. To the chief and the entire department, thank you for your professionalism and all the efforts you put into keeping this town safe. Thank you.
Congratulations and good luck to you. Stay safe. Keep good eyes for the town. And God bless you. Thank you. Barbara, we take 2 minutes recess. We give the policeman to go downstairs. You have any food? Save some for us, okay? Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming, all of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Mayor, Council, thank you for having us this evening. Thank you, Bob, and congratulations. Nice to see you sitting up there. Good evening, everyone. Mayor and Council, thank you for having us here today. I have to say, I'm extremely proud to be here this evening. We're here actually to honor three of our EP crew travel soccer teams. All three teams won their divisions again this year. We were here last year around this time, and it was very overwhelming to know that one of our teams had done it 2 years in a row. Well, the same team did it again. So this is 3 years in a row. And along with myself, I know your parents are very proud of you. I know your coaches are extremely proud of you. And I have to say, we have one of the best soccer boards around. I have such dedicated people that volunteer all their time to us and to the children in this community. And I'd like to introduce them to you and bring them up so they can introduce their teams. The president of our board, Zenon Nowolbisky. Helena Nowolbisky, our treasurer. Antonio Castelbuono and Ed Demosky, come on up. And everyone except Helena actually coaches the teams. I'm sorry. Oh, where's Brandon? Oh, I'm sorry, Brandon. Come on up. I didn't know you were here. Yeah, I know. You're wearing orange. And Brandon Rivera. These people work tirelessly. Honestly, they really do work tirelessly. They're here every single night. They're practicing. Helena's working on the finances. They practice, they play, they travel with their teams. And I couldn't be prouder of them. And really, everyone, congratulations. You did a terrific job. I don't even know if anybody ever won 3 times in a row. We're going to have to find out if that's a record, okay? Nobody. All right, you got the record.
Thank you, Donna. Well, it looks like they're also going for 4th one, but season started very promising this year already. We second week in a season, so everything looks very promising with all the teams. Last season, spring was tremendous for us. Out of 7 teams, 3 of them won division, and 3 of them got 2nd place. And I think 2 of them just lost championship by only 2 points. So I think that was tremendous accomplishment by our entire soccer club. Like Donna I don't want to repeat, but with the dedication, with coaches we have, we cannot ask for more. So I thank you again for invitation, but I think we start feeling like we're home. We just want next time. So thank you, Eddie.
Zenon. Mr. Mayor, Councilman, ladies as well. So this year I had the privilege and the honor of coaching two of our championship teams that are here this evening. The first team I'd like to introduce to you is our Jaguars, our little guys right here. They're part of Morris County Youth Soccer Association, and I'm proud to say this is quite an accomplishment. This is their third season in a row where they won their division and their league championship. Not only that, but in 3 seasons, they've only lost 2 games. So it's amazing. They pretty much bumped us up to the highest flight we can be at this time. And so far, the boys are dominating. They're dominating their first game again. And it's just a matter of talent and dedication from the parents. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up the boys and present them their awards. Okay, so first, Matthew Barrios. Here, Matthew. Next, Gianni. Next is Andre. By the way, we're getting shirts that have these little 3P season divisions on the back as well. Connor. Constantine. David. Mateusz. Nicola. Carl. Kevin. And Stefan. And also Antonio, coach with me with the little guys. So Antonio, these are for us. Congratulations. The Jaguars, everybody. Okay. Huh?
And Coach Eddie.
Thank you.
Now I really hate that I gave up that team.
Okay. Coach Antonio. There's his trophy. Thank you so much. My buddy. Okay. The next team I'd like to call up are my older boys, my Division I boys, the Falcons. Interestingly enough, I've had these guys and I've coached them since they were little as well. This last season, they played Division I. They played in U18, U19 bracket. They're 15 and 16-year-olds. And they clinched and they won, and they also went undefeated. So hats off to these boys as well. Outstanding job. Not all of them are here. I'm sure they all got other things to do. So I'd like to call up them as well, so we can get them all. Okay. Okay, so Rocco's not here. Faison's not here. Matthew Bronco. Nicholas Bronco. My son Thomas Domofsky. David is not here. Michael's not here either. This Michael's not here. Kevin Murkowski. And Coach Zenon's son, Michael Novoblinsky. Kevin Sands.
I know.
John.
Shake your shirt off. Hey, Clark.
His twin brother, Daniel. By the way, he turned 16 in July.
Coach, you said you taught these kids when they were little. What happened?
I don't know. I said that they grew up.
Since they were little? What happened?
Wait till you see the next guy, Mr. Councilman. Hold on. Luca.
Jesus.
So I give you guys the Falcons and the Jaguars. I was privileged to be part of these guys and everybody else that helped me, but you know, I just can't say more than boys. Thank everybody for everything. Oh, Camille, where is he? I'm sorry, where's Camille? He's sitting down. I don't see him. There he is. Come up, Camille. Camille's from one of our other 13s. There you go, buddy. Thank you. Of course you're going to get it. Again, thank you all for allowing me to honor these boys tonight. It was a pleasure.
Now we have also an award for
That's for Coach Zenon. Oh, Coach Zenon. The UAT. Thank you.
Also, I would like to mention, last Columbus Day, we play at Salybrook Tournament. We took 3 teams, 2 of them won tournament. So that's another.
Yeah.
I wanted to thank all of the parents that help with the registration of the kids, with bringing them to practices, and helping out with the teams, with the coaches also. Thank you very much for your dedication to the club and for your support. Thank you.
I like that. Hey, Bart, did that microphone come up here?
I think I have some comments from the council. Guys? Mr. Burke?
Yes. Yes, sir. Congratulations, guys. But most important is that the parents and the coaches and the organization, what you do for the kids, I mean, that's really what makes it work. They just have to show up. Everybody else is, they play no matter what, whether they're organized or not, they'll run up and down and kick a soccer ball. But the most important thing is the volunteer parents and the coaches. Congratulations to you guys, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Boys, and congratulations. Three-peat, that is something very, very special that many teams can't say. Most teams can't say they win back-to-back, but you've got three-peat. You're obviously going to go for 4 after this. As far as the coaches go, to all the coaches, I've run junior baseball for many, many years. I was the president. I know how difficult it is to keep organizations like this going because you don't only have these teams, but you have a lot of other teams that you're also doing. And parents, take a look at these coaches here. They don't just coach your kids, but they're also involved in the town in other areas. I mean, they're spending their nights, making sure that our children are taken care of. And again, thank you all very much. I'd like to see the parents give you guys and your kids a great round of applause out there. And then you guys give your parents a round of applause.
I'd also just like to congratulate all the players, the coaches, the parents, our rec director, Donna Pugliese. What you did was extraordinary, and we're all very proud of you as a community. So we all know that hard work pays off, and tonight's an example of that. So please keep it up, and good luck in the future. Thank you.
Our attorney, if we say a few words, you have kids who play soccer?
Congratulations, boys. My sons all play soccer. It's a great sport. It's a lot of work, a lot of big commitment with the parents. So congratulations, and your parents and your coaches, because they have to put a lot of time and effort into it.
Thank you. John Domenico.
Congratulations to all of the players. You guys know the value of hard work and have great determination. And if you guys take all those skills and apply it to every aspect of your life, you will be beyond successful in every endeavor that you guys go on in the future. So remember that, apply the same skills. Great job by all the coaches. You take times away from your family to coach all of these kids. It's great dedication to all the parents that they time to drive to the practices, the games. Donna, you do a great job running all of the rec programs. Thank you for that, and congratulations.
I want to congratulate all 3 teams on your continuous success. You should all be very proud of yourselves. And of course, the coaches, without you, they wouldn't be where they are today. So thank you for your dedication to all these students and the players. And also the parents. We can't forget the parents, because they need to be there for them and get them there, and their support is crucial in how successful they are as well. And of course, Donna, we thank you for keeping these programs and supporting them all the time, and they're all doing a great job. Thank you so much.
The next one is to go back. Very much a fan of the soccer.
I am.
You coach.
I referee, actually.
You also referee. Now referee, he makes money.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. Boys, congratulations. Great accomplishments. To the coaches, board, to our rec director, thank you for all the time you put in. You all are involved in by far the most beautiful sport on our earth. Enjoy every second of it. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to say a few words, guys. First of all, let me remind you that I was the first one to start the soccer program in Elmwood Park. Okay, let's not forget that. I remind you over and over again. I'm very happy to see this. When I came to America, soccer was not that popular. I played for Eastside High School, and I was a mediocre player, but at that time I used to be a champion. Like I was a really great player for everyone. But now I see the skills that you have, that you've developed, really you know how to play soccer. I watch you many times. I also played for Fairleigh Dickinson, and I was on a scholarship thanks to my feet. I remind them once in a while if I can reach them, I kiss them, save a lot of money. And I want to wish you the best. Continue with soccer. It's a very good sport. And parents, congratulations, and coaches, all the sacrifice. Thanks. I also coached at Wayne Hills High School, but we had a very good club over there. I tell you, and I'm a fan of the Juventus teams. If you guys like Juventus, you're my friend. Good luck, and God bless all of you. Be careful, don't get hurt. Thank you, Donna.
Yes.
At this time, we're going to take a short recess so everyone from the soccer teams can
Congratulations.
file out.
Just wait for Sandy.
Okay, Mayor, the next item on the agenda are ordinances under first reading. We have Resolution 328-18, introduce ordinance number 18-23 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to Appropriate an Additional Sum of $117,500 for the resurfacing of portions of Franklin Street, Orchard Street, and Lee Street in, by, and for the Borough of Elmwood Park in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such additional appropriations, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. Be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, October 18th, 2018, at 8 p.m., or as soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time any person interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Deputy Borough Clerk be, and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
I may have a motion to introduce the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, let's call the roll.
Okay, on roll call, Ballestieri,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes?
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Giandomenico,
Yes.
Pellegrin,
Yes.
Gullivec.
Yes.
And also through you, Mayor, this was for additional funding for the CBGB grant. Resolution R329-18, introduce ordinance number 18-24 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to amend Chapter 3 of the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park, titled 3-1.2 Prohibited Noises, be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, October 18th, 2018, at 8 p.m., or as soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Deputy Borough Clerk be, and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
I have a motion to introduce the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor, discussion briefly?
You have the question on the first reading?
I just have a comment.
Okay.
For the public. Just for the public's edification, there was, over the years, the different complaints from residents that neighboring animals to their property would make noise and disturb their peace. And what we did was kind of looked at the language. And the language change makes it easier for the affected homeowner to record this noise going on and then bring it to our municipal court for the judge to decide and hear for himself what the severity is and you know, what penalties to assess. So it gives the homeowner a lot more power to record these activities and do with it what they want. Thank you.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Ballestieri,
Yes.
Burke,
I'm going to abstain.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Giandomenico,
Yes.
Pellegrin,
Yes.
Gullivec.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R330-18, introduce ordinance number 18-25 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled Disruption of Lawful Activities of Commercial or Retail Establishments Within the Borough of Elmwood Park be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it further resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, October 18th, 2018, at 8 p.m., or soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that Deputy Borough Clerk be, and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
May I have a motion to introduce the ordinance?
So moved.
Second?
Call the roll.
On roll call, Ballestieri,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes?
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Giandomenico,
Yes.
Pellegrin,
Yes.
Gullivec.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this is to combat the panhandling on Broadway. Okay, Resolution R-331-18, introduce ordinance number 18-26 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance to Amend and Supplement the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park with the addition of Chapter 8 Recreational Marijuana Dispensaries and Paraphernalia Facilities, facilitating the use of marijuana," be and passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that the final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the Municipal Building on Thursday, October 18, 2018, at 8 p.m., as soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that Deputy Borough Clerk be, and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
May I have a motion to introduce the ordinance?
So moved.
Second. Discussion, Mayor?
Want to say, make a comment?
Yeah. Just in regards to this ordinance, back in January, Councilman Chirdo brought up how the governor was looking into legalizing recreational marijuana, and Anthony advocated to preserve our own right to enact zoning restrictions to protect our community and the health and welfare of our residents. When the topic first was discussed during a work session, only myself, Councilman Chirdo, and Councilman Dombrowski supported drafting two ordinances. One that is a total ban of the sale of marijuana, and one that zones it for specific areas. Then when it was reviewed back on April 12, 2018, the council majority decided not to enact and vote down the ordinance, with myself and Councilman Chirdo being the only votes in support of adopting the ordinance. The majority chose not to move forward, claiming the need to hold off until the state passes their legislation regarding recreational marijuana. On our last public meeting in August, many residents addressed this topic at the public hearing. They brought up how the town needs to be preventive and in the interest of our children and community ban the sale of marijuana. If you watched the August 16th meeting, the council president called the other towns hysterical for passing ordinances and how the majority would prefer to wait for hard facts and legislation to be passed where there would be a window of opportunity for Elmwood Park to react. Following that meeting, during the very next work session on September 6th, I introduced a resolution since the council majority would not act on an ordinance, which simply sent a sentiment opposing the sale of recreational marijuana and the use of it in Elmwood Park. I felt it was important to send a message to our community as to where their elected officials stand on the issues, even while the majority refused to make it a law through an ordinance. Much to my surprise, when we discussed the topic at the work session, everybody up here changed their mind. I'm not sure if it was the public outcry during the last August meeting. Maybe it's that Councilman Chirdo is no longer here and politics are being played for the fear that he would be given any credit. Regardless, whatever happened in the last 21 days, I'm glad that the council majority is now in agreement to be proactive, despite there not being any hard legislation passed on the state level. Thank you.
Anyone
Mayor.
else want to make a comment?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir, Mayor. Councilwoman, as you recall correctly, that I did vote with you to put two resolutions, and then I did say, let's hold off until we find out some more information. I am confident that the decision that we made tonight is the right decision based upon what I'm hearing coming from the state, and that was the reason why I'm saying that we should enact it now and make a ban. And this is not a political issue. We're not trying to go political and say, so this person did this or this person did that. We as a council majority, we as a council, mayor and all the council, we're making a decision that is based upon the residents' safety, and this is one of them, and this is a good move for us.
Mayor, if I could just add, since I was referenced, I personally pride myself on being open-minded, and I've always done that since my first day in office on the school board. The reality is that there were a lot of residents with a lot of concerns. I did actually take the proactive route and actually sat with colleagues in other towns that took the approach to ban it proactively and saw their point of view as to how it benefits the community to have a ban in place, as the state was going through the process. The reality is, if anyone does follow the news every day, although it has not been passed, the text and the details of the marijuana legalization bill have all been finalized except for the tax rate that the state will assess on the sale. So all of the matters that concern the local municipalities are out there on the internet. They are to be found. I have reviewed them, and I'm comfortable making a decision. I think at every single point we said that at some point we would act on the partial ban or the ban. At no point did anyone say that it wasn't. Councilman Dombrowski brought up this topic. We've had multiple discussions. I've had discussions with other council members who have brought this concern, and I have no personal issue with us moving forward on this.
Anyone else? Any other comments? No? I guess call the roll, says.
Okay, on roll call, Ballestieri,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Gina Domenico?
Yes.
Pellegrin?
Yes.
Golubek?
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is our consent agenda. Resolution 332-18, payment of bills. Resolution 333-18, confirmation of payroll. Resolution 334-18, approve annual municipal audit report for the year 2017. Resolution 335-18, current estimate number 6 for the Elmwood Park water tank replacement. Resolution 336-18, current estimate number 7, Elmwood Park water tank replacement. Resolution 337-18, reject bid submitted for fiscal year 2017 Community Development Building Grant, improvements to Orchard Street, Franklin Street, and Lee Street. Resolution 338-18, authorized payment for emergency water main repair on Market Street, Colinelli Brothers. Resolution 339-18, authorized additional funding, emergency generator, Boswell Engineering. Resolution 340-18, authorized proposal for installation of gas line for emergency generator by Zuccharo and Sons. Resolution 341-18, authorized outdoor lighting service agreement, PSE&G. Resolution 342-18, authorized refunds, Recreation Department. Resolution 343-18, approve vacation buybacks. Resolution 344-18, appoint firefighters and junior firefighters. Resolution 345-18, approve execution of 2018-2020 snow plowing agreement with Bergen County Department of Public Works. Resolution 346-18, redeem third-party tax title lien 417 Market Street. Resolution 347-18, redeem third-party tax title lien 25 14th Avenue. Resolution 348-18, resolution to remove open balances and refund taxes due to exempt veteran status. Resolution 349-18, renew liquor license 2018-2019 license term. Resolution 350-18, resolution requesting approval of items of revenue and appropriation, alcohol education rehab enforcement fund. Resolution 351-18, resolution requesting approval of items of revenue and appropriation for the drive sober or get pulled over. Resolution 352-18, resolution requesting approval of items of revenue and appropriation, drunk driving enforcement fund. Resolution 353-18, resolution requesting approval of items of revenue and appropriation, NJDEP recycling tonnage grant. Resolution 354-18, resolution requesting approval of items of revenue and appropriation, stigma-free initiative. Resolution 355-18, approve block party request for 15th Avenue. Resolution 356-18, appointment of Public Agency Compliance Officer, also known as PACO. Resolution 357-18, resolution authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to invest idle funds with Passaic Valley Water Commission. Resolution 358-18, resolution authorizing the Fire Prevention Bureau to waive inspection fees for 2019 project graduation. Resolution 359-18, approve request to utilize Borough Grandstand, St. Leo's RC Church. Resolution 360-18, resolution establishing stigma-free task force. Resolution 361-18, resolution authorizing the execution of contract regarding Bergen County Trust Fund Project 2017 Municipal Program, Elmwood Park Memorial High School tennis courts. Resolution 362-18, appoint 2018-2019 before and after care program employees, Recreation Department. Resolution 363-18, resolution to approve retirement compensation, Dale Fava. Resolution 364-18, resolution to approve retirement compensation, Dean Sestero. Resolution 365-18, resolution to approve retirement compensation, Robert Creasy. Resolution 366-18, authorize use of facilities for 2019 to the North Jersey Community Center of the Deaf Incorporated. Resolution 367-18, resolution to terminate employment, Police Department, Michael Ingrassalino. Resolution 368-18, appointment of Special Police Officer, Class 2, Police Department, Thomas Ballestieri. Almost there. Resolution 369-18, appointment of School Security Officer, Police Department, Gene Knoll. Resolution 370-18, authorize the execution of Elmwood Park White Collar Blue Collar Association contract. Resolution 371-18, award contract award Fire Department Siren Activation System. Resolution 372-18, resolution to cancel stale checks. Resolution 373-18, extend appointment of interim fire official, Fire Prevention Bureau. Resolution 374-18, resolution to accept the consent agenda.
I have a motion on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mayor, I'd like to pull Resolution 368-18, Special Officer 2, and Resolution 373-18, extension for the fire official off the consent agenda.
Okay, can we have Councilman Dombrowski and Councilwoman Pellegrini amend your motions to accept the consent agenda minus Resolution 368-18 and Resolution 373-18?
Yes.
Yes.
Give me 1 second.
Extension. Fire official.
Okay, on roll call for the consent agenda minus those two resolutions. Councilwoman Ballestieri?
Yes, but I recuse on R 367-18 and R 369-18.
Okay, recuse on 367 and 369. Okay, Burke?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Giandomenico?
Yes.
Pellegrini?
Yes.
Gullabec?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, Resolution 368-18 on the, is off the consent agenda. Appointment of Special Police Officer, Class 2, Police Department, Thomas Ballestieri. Whereas a request was made by Chief Foligno to appoint a Special Police Officer, Class 2, and whereas Thomas Ballestieri was submitted to the Mayor and Council for their consideration in said position and accepted for said appointment. And whereas Police Chief Foligno determined the next available training class is to begin in March 2019. Therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council that the following be, and he is hereby appointed as a Special Police Officer effective following the successful completion of the required training at the Police Academy. And be it further resolved that compensation for said position be in accordance with the salary ordinance in place at that time. Mayor, can we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. So, every year during our budget hearings, we discuss the staffing, and we've held various discussion about the police TO and the needs of the police department that were brought forth by our police chief, Foligno. Just a few weeks ago, he mentioned creating a special 2 officer position, which has never been discussed before. He brought it to us back in August, stating that our current Special Officer 1 asked to be moved up to Special Officer 2, and Chief Foligno felt he was a good worker and he would not be against that. Let me make it very clear, I have absolutely no issue with the individual. Everything I have heard has been on the positive note. However, there are very important questions surrounding the appointment that I have raised. One, is there a need? We hired in 2016 2 police officers, in 2017 2 police officers, based on the recommendation of Chief Foligno. This year, we have hired additional police officers based on the chief's recommendation. What I have not heard is why this change from Special 1 to Special 2 is needed, other than the employee asked for the change originally. My second question was as to whether this appointment is a promotion or an appointment of a new position. And my third question, the most obvious concern, is that this appointment is in violation of our nepotism ordinance. One item, I did request that Chief of Police put in writing the need for this position and what benefit it would have for public safety and the community would be. And on my second question, I asked the Borough Attorney to look into the change, the status of it for our last work session, which our Borough Attorney came back stating that he didn't believe it was in violation of the nepotism, that he mentioned and used the word promotion, that it would be more of him being promoted to a different position. It's not a new hire. That same word was used by our police chief. He also mentioned that he went a step further and looked at Saddlebrook's nepotism ordinance and ran it against that, and he believed that it was still not in violation. And what I did was also went a step further, and prior to that work session, I emailed civil service and I asked if there was a such thing between the two positions, if there was a promotion or if it was a new position. And civil service wrote back, the titles which you mentioned are unclassified titles. The employees with these titles are unclassified appointments. They are not subject to promotional procedures. There are no promotions within the two titles. If you wanted to place a Class 1 special law enforcement officer into a higher title, you would separate him in the camps, which is a website for civil service. So you have to take him out of that position and put him into a brand new, you have to take him from Class 1 and enter him brand new in the camp system to a higher title of Class 2, Special Law Enforcement Officer. It's a different position. On the third issue, I have a great concern that this appointment is not a promotion, but it's an appointment that violates our Code of Ethics 2-56-10, Employment of Relatives, which states, no member of the Borough Council and/or the mayor shall, during his term of office, appoint or hire for employment within the Borough of Elmwood Park any member of his family directly related by blood or marriage. And the code goes back to 1969. So on this, my other issue was, it was on the agenda, it was off the agenda, now it's back on the agenda. On September 18th, we received an email from our deputy clerk, which one stated that the chief had reached out to her and regarding a start date for Mr. Ballestier's resolution. I received a call from Chief Feligno stating that the earliest class for Mr. Ballestier is March 2019, which it says it on the reso that this appointment would not be valid till after the completion of a class 6 months from now in 2019. So the chief therefore stated he requested the resolution be held off until January or February, which is closer to when the appointment should occur, further demonstrating that there's no sense of urgency for this appointment or position currently. As it stands now, the resolution makes an appointment for the current individual in a new position for the next year. So my other question now to the borough attorney is, a lot could happen in 6 months, and are we illegally allowed to tie in next year's council to a promotion based on not completion of the class?
I can answer something.
The promotion is the job. It's subject to him completing the class. He is being put into that position. This gets the ball rolling for him to get the title. He doesn't start getting paid until he completes that part of the police academy.
6 months from now, in March of 2019.
But
I'm not finished.
I do believe if there is a class that opens up, he could be sent tomorrow, he could be sent next week. So what this does is, it actually gives the chief the ability that if he finds where, because my understanding is, a police academy, they can go various police academies. They're not bound by Bergen County. They could go to Essex, they could go to Union, Hudson, whoever has an academy. So if tomorrow a position opens up or a class opens up, he could put him in. He could put him in starting the class immediately. I believe all he has to do is pass the psychological test. There's no other process because he's already employed by the borough.
All right.
So I don't think there's a violation.
Can I just add
I'm
one
not
thing,
finished,
Council?
Councilwoman, so can I please respectfully finish my
Sure, I just
comments?
wanted to
Thank
answer
you.
that part of it.
I didn't ask you right now. So I understand that, Borough Attorney. Civil Service doesn't agree with you. It's your interpretation of the law. I believe that this violates our nepotism clause, and based on the answer from Civil Service, this is a new position, not a promotion. I feel the council majority is clearly violating our nepotism code, our code of ethics, which has been on the books for 1969, and based on that, I move for a motion to table this resolution, 36818, for discussion until further answers I receive from the Ethics Board.
I'd like to finish my point if I can. May I?
Yes.
Oh, now I'm finished with mine, yes,
Oh, thank you.
before you interrupted.
I didn't interrupt. I was going to answer something you asked, so we don't need to be rude.
I wasn't the rude one.
The second, what I would like to say is I asked the chief about, he had said about the march, and I questioned why it was off and then it was back on, and he had said to me that there can be a class possibly opening up in October for Essex County. And he decided to put him back on because a resolution has to be passed. So if that class comes up quickly all of a sudden, he can be put in and wouldn't have to wait to March. He also just started a walking post up the Elmwood Shopping Center, just so everyone knows. And he felt in our work meeting, I think he even brought attention to that he could use this individual for that reason, and a lot of other needs for him too, but also that was something new that he felt he could definitely utilize this individual for. I don't understand this whole thing. We have an individual here, 11 years, that's been doing an outstanding job. We always say we try to listen to the recommendations from our department heads. He was strong about putting him on. He said he had asked and spoke to the chief in the past, and at that time, he didn't feel there was a need. He said, now with these extra posts and different things that are happening in the town, the burglaries, there's so many burglaries with the cars and everything else, he felt he can really utilize this individual. So I really don't know why this is becoming. We had answers from our chief. We had him up. He answered the questions. No disrespect to you, Councilwoman, but you're not an attorney. I listened to our attorney. Our attorney is recommending that it is okay to do this, so I have no problem recommending this individual and voting on him. So whoever chooses to vote no, that's your prerogative, but we are going with the advice of our department head and our borough attorney. So I don't think there's anything wrong with this, and I think it's been really blown out of proportion. The chief has answered us more than one occasion on this, and that's all I have to say about this. He will get my support.
Mayor, I'd like to add to this, please. I'd like to remind everybody, on May 14th, 2007, a Republican councilman sat in this very chair, and his son was promoted in the police department. So I would like to answer this whole nepotism thing. First of all, this young man who is currently a police officer, he's outstanding. Have nothing against him. But this happened in 2007, May 14th, 2007. A Republican councilman had to recuse. There is no nepotism here. This young man was here for 11 years, okay? This is a promotion.
No, it's not, Joe. I give you the letter.
Councilwoman, hold on.
Service.
Councilwoman, you had your 5 minutes.
I'm sorry, I
You had your 5 minutes. Don't interrupt me.
And I apologize.
Thank you. This young man was here for 11 years, okay? The chief came up, we've heard from the residents. Not only did I get phone calls, not only did we get emails on it, it's all over social media that we have issues with squatters and panhandlers up at the stores. So what does our chief do? He takes a proactive measure and starts a walking patrol. Now, taking an officer off the street for that 10, 15 minutes to do that walking patrol puts our residents at jeopardy when there is a real 911 emergency. So the chief came to us and said, listen, I'd like to see us bring this young man up to a Special 2 where I can use him. I'd also like to show everybody, in 1975, here is the table of organization of our Elmwood Park Police Department. 1975, we had 43 sworn officers. We also had 40 special officers. 40. A total of 83 officers. Our chief is not asking us to do this, but he is trying to get back to where, listen folks, it's a different Elmwood Parks, excuse me, it's a different East Patterson since 1975, okay? We have a lot of issues that we're trying to curb with fewer officers. So now, I know that you sit in our CFO's office very frequently. You put it on social media that you're looking to, excuse me, you're looking to save the budget. By taking this Special 2, we're not putting out a police officer. We are creating an opportunity to save money for this borough by having a Special 2 in this position. I don't see the nepotism. I know you're going to make it a political issue, but then I would also say to you then, you know, you have a member of your family that works for this borough. So if that member was to be promoted to library director, you couldn't, it's the same thing. You have a relative that's been sitting, that has been working in this borough for all these years. Now, tomorrow, the board may turn around and say that he should be the library director. Are you saying that we shouldn't promote him?
Well, what I'm saying, since you asked me what I'm saying, that our nepotism law states that it's a new hire. So where you're wrong with police officers, there's such thing as a promotion. That's not a new hire. So whatever you referenced in 2007 was a promotion, or whatever year you mentioned the Republican, I wasn't on the council then, that was a promotion. There's promotions within those titles stated so by civil service. You stated that this is a promotion. Civil service, and I could give you guys all a copy of the email, clearly says These are unclassified titles, unclassified appointments. There's no such thing as a promotion within the title, but civil service. So with all due respect, Councilman, you don't know the procedures with civil service. So if you're talking about a promotion within titles that exist, yes, that's not a violation of our nepotism clause. But if civil service says that these are not procedural promotions, then that is a new position. And that is my issue. My issue is not about doing the force. And to the remarks of Councilwoman Pellegrin, if it was such a dire need, our chief wrote on September 18th an email saying he's okay to wait till next February. So clearly it wasn't in dire need, because he would have said, I'm okay, let's do this right away, but then the class won't be offered till March. So those are my opinions. I disagree with it. And that's it.
But civil service, Mayor, if I may, does not interpret a borough ordinance. This is interpretation of a borough ordinance and whether or not it's a new hire. It's not a new hire. He's been employed by the borough for 11 years. He's not a new hire. The chief stated, he even stated it when I spoke to him, no additional background check has to be done as a new hire would have to do. He doesn't have to do anything that he would do for a new hire, except the only thing he has to do, because he's going to carry a firearm, is a psychological. So my interpretation of the city ordinance, not civil service, is not a new hire. That's my position.
Mayor,
Anyone else?
may I add my 2 cents? First, I'd like to make just a general comment that should this exchange end up on social media, I would appreciate if all viewpoints are presented for the public's consumption.
That's why our meeting's up.
Right. I would just hope that when these views are presented to the people, that all viewpoints are presented to give them some kind of balance on this subject. Facts matter, facts matter, facts matter. I think many people, many of my colleagues have indicated that the chief has spelled out very clearly a use and a need for this position. There is this walking patrol now that has started, and we are very gracious that the chief has taken this step and that his department has cooperated, because this is not something that is done in 2018. I think we all recognize that you see this in very few communities, but we also have to recognize that it's not sustainable forever. We have a busy town, 50,000 police calls. So while we have a very good system in place that he has started, it is clearly not sustainable on a daily basis. This supplements that. Okay? If this individual had nothing to do with the borough before tonight, then I would say absolutely, you are well within your, you're correct in to say, okay, this is nepotism, you're installing somebody. This person has been involved with this borough before the family member had anything to do with this borough council. These 2 items are absolutely separate items. Someone can work for a borough, for an institution, for a certain amount of time, and then rightfully go and get additional training to end up in a different position, while at the same time, a situation can coexist where a family member puts their name for public service and gets selected by the people. The 1969 nepotism ordinance, it would be very specific if it wanted to stop people who are already here from moving up. It would have written that, and I think the intent is very clear. It was to prevent when people got elected and onto the dais, to start installing family members and getting them, getting the entire family employed. That's what these nepotism policies do. It's what I think ours was trying to do. It's what other neighboring communities have done. We have someone who has done work for this community, making $11, $12 an hour, working traffic detail shifts faithfully for so many years, and now that the chief has a specific use for them, is coming up to the council and saying, I have a use for this that could make Elmwood Park safer. There is a very clear rationale from this. If there was no rationale, if this person was coming off the street, then I would understand. But truly, facts matter. They matter in this situation, and I think the facts are on the side of doing this. There are no other special, if we had 15 special ones, I'll give you that scenario. If we had 15 special ones and other people were being passed over that had many more years of experience, then I would say there's something to discuss here. But the facts are, it's just logical to do this. And I mean, the attorney just touched on civil service. We have many areas in the borough code, many positions where the word civil service is littered everywhere. We went through that with the fire official. The nepotism policy makes no reference to civil service. Civil service has their own policies. We have our own personnel practices. We have our own personnel files. Very little changes with this employee, except for the fact that they go for additional training. And yes, if they're successful, they end up in a different position. But the great takeaway at the end of the day is that when all is said and done, when the sound bites are done, when the noise is done, the Borough of Elmwood Park will be safer because we are taking this step. And I hope after tonight, when we continue discussions with our police chief about how to keep Elmwood Park safe, that we keep moving in these types of directions. Because whenever we are able to utilize a Special 2 officer, as Councilman Dombrowski said, it either lets our police officers do other tasks, or stops us from having to expand our police force if there is such a desire or such a need. We had so many in 1975. This is a plus for our community. It can be spun into whatever anyone wants to spin it into, but again, facts matter. The facts point to that this makes logical sense for our community, and I will be fully supporting this because it's the right thing to do for our residents.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
to speak to Tommy, I know him from coaching, but that's really besides the point, and hearing everything, and I wasn't involved in this since the beginning, and knowing that he's a special one. I'm taking it from the my background aspect of it, and the hiring. I mean, police that go through to get hired here, they go through a whole process, civil service, take a test, and the whole. You know, there's just create a position is open from a Special 1 to a Special 2, whether you call it promotion or not. If he doesn't qualify with the weapon, does he not be a Special 1 anymore? These are things, and again, the police officers that are going through the academy day in and day out are ultimately qualified to carry a gun that way, as opposed to going. I'm trying to figure out we're hiring 5 new police officers, that are, I believe, 3 in the academy and 4 in the academy, and we just hired 1 tonight. That is the answer. Why are they walking the beat? That's just 1 Special 2. I'm not understanding that one as far as Special 1s and as far as their what they do. I'm not familiar, so in essence, I'm going to abstain from this. But the thing is, I'm just curious as to the hiring practices of a Special 1 or a Special 2, no matter what, compared to the hiring practices, because we're calling him a police officer. What is next for that? Is there somebody else in line for that? The same thing? Are they getting vetted the same way? Not just because he's a councilwoman's son, or before she was a councilman. Those are, the vetting process, is it the same, or is it just appointments? Again, he's going to carry a weapon, which is a huge responsibility. And I might add that my first time around the State Police Academy, I was excused from the academy because I didn't qualify with the weapon. So the thing is this is a very important aspect of it, carrying a weapon, walking the streets, being that the accountability, and the culpability, of this council. That's really all I have to say about that. But again, carrying a weapon is very important, and I'm sure I know you talk about the promotions. When somebody's hired and they're promoted within, they have to take their test, they go to the academy, they pass the test, and they get promoted. That's all within. This seems a little different. I call for a clarification myself. Talk to somebody who's a little bit, not, it was a little sketchy on it, and I just need to try and do some homework on it. But like I said, it's I'm not 100% sure about the nepotism thing. I'm just curious about, 1 Special 2 compared to Special 1. If he doesn't make it through Special 2, does he stay as a Special 1? These are the questions.
Thank you. Kids are done, and call the roll, please.
On roll call, Ballesteri,
Recuse.
Burke,
Abstain?
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Giandomenico.
I'm going to abstain until I get further clarification from the Ethics Board. And again, this has nothing to do with the individual at all. He's been highly talked about and all that, so just to make it clear.
Pellegrini,
Yes.
Golovac.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, Resolution 373-18, extend appointment of interim fire official, fire prevention. Whereas at the special public meeting on August 2nd, 2018, Resolution 277-18 was adopted, appointing Stephen Kochik as interim fire official for a term of 60 days ending October 1st, 2018. And whereas the need exists for an extension of 30 days, making the new term ending date October 31st, 2018. Therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an additional 30 days be and are hereby approved, extending the term of the interim fire official Stephen Kochik to October 31st, 2018 be passed. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, please. Yeah.
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Discussion. If I may, Mayor, this resolution was emailed to us overnight. We haven't discussed in our last two work sessions. It has not come up in our fire committee. Last time we discussed this back for August 2nd, when there was a meeting to appoint him, we mentioned that we were going to redo the interview process, and at which point I suggested that the other three council members who didn't interview the first bunch redo the interviews, so that way there's more transparency and no bias. We were originally supposed to have a meeting on August 23rd to discuss how we would advertise and go about the whole process. I did reach out to Councilman Dombrowski back on August 22nd, asking if we were still having that meeting, and at which point he did say that he was going to speak to our borough attorney and reschedule it. That was back on August 22nd. So when I received the email and read it last night that we are extending the fire official for an additional 30 days, I asked our attorney if, based on civil service guidelines, we are allowed to legally to do that. I do know that we legally have to have a fire official, so I understand the need of it, but I wasn't sure with the civil service titles if we were legally allowed just to extend it for another 30 days. Our borough attorney did follow up this morning stating that he discussed it with Gene Word from Civil Service, who advised that the 30-day extension, since it was a temporary appointment, was legal and we were allowed to do that. I do find it interesting that we do follow Civil Service on this issue and what Gene suggested, but ignored it on the other one, but that's my opinion. So more importantly, I just wanted to know where we are with this, Joe, with the plan on selecting a new fire official. It's been taken over a month. I haven't heard anything. There was no courtesy to the fire committee prior to that last-minute email.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, you know, we had a really interesting August, end of August, and September kind of had a lot of curveballs there too. We had a very busy time during then. We are going to be interviewing all the candidates that had applied for the position, maybe excluding a few that through the committee's discussion, but the ones that came up, we're going to be re-advertising, or not re-advertising, but we're going to give them, here's what we would like to see you do, come into your interview with, be prepared with this, and then we'll make a decision there. The reason why we had to do this tonight, Councilwoman, is because we only put them on for 60 days, okay? And as you know, we don't have another meeting until after his 60th day would be over, and we couldn't leave ourselves without it. That's why it went on the agenda. Actually, I thought it was on the agenda. We were going to be putting it on the agenda a week and a half ago, and when I saw it wasn't on the original agenda, I did call Barbara, and that's why he was put on to that effect. But our intention is to bring in these candidates, re-interview them, and make a decision within the 90-day period.
Thank you.
Anyone else? No? Okay, I guess call the roll.
Okay, on roll call, Ballestieri,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Giandomenico,
Yes.
Pellegrin,
Yes.
Gullivec.
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is departmental reports. We have the Police Department report for July 2018, the Finance Department report for August 2018, Millennium Strategies report for August 2018, Municipal Court report for July and August 2018, Department of Public Works Department, August 2018, and the Board of Health minutes for June 11th, 2018.
Mayor, motion to accept the file.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, call the roll.
On roll call, Ballestieri,
Yes.
Burke, Dombrowski,
Yes.
Giandomenico,
Yes.
Pellegrin,
Yes.
Gullivec.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this ends my portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Barbara. Let me have a council report. Mr. Burke, we start with you. You have any? Fine, okay. Dombrowski?
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like once again congratulate the young men for winning their three-peat this year from the wrecking crew. Great job by the coaches and the parents. I'd also like to congratulate our newly sworn officer, Matthew Auslander. Wish him much success as well as health, and stay safe out there. From the fire prevention point of view, Mayor, the Fire Prevention Bureau is preparing for Fire Prevention Week, which is October 7th through the 13th. This year's theme will be Look, Listen, Learn, and Be Aware. Fire can happen anywhere. They will be in the schools the week of the 8th through the 19th, teaching the kids and their teachers about fire safety. The Fire Prevention Bureau has investigated 5 fires this past month and has investigated 2 fire safety concerns. Currently, the Bureau is conducting fire extinguisher training for some businesses in town, as well as next week. Fire Prevention would like to remind all vendors that come into Elmwood Park, food trucks or anything of that sort, you must be inspected by the fire official so that make sure that there is no issues. And as a reminder, any resident that needs assistance in place to place either a smoke detector or a carbon monoxide detector and would like Fire Prevention's help, by all means, please call 201-796-1457, extension 221. They'll be more than happy to help you. I also would like to report that we are 263 days into the year. Our fire department, our volunteers, our men and women have answered 310 calls so far. That's quite a few. And then lastly, Mayor, I would like to report that the Elmwood Park Bombers will be playing this week against Hasbrook Heights on Saturday, starting at 3 p.m. Currently, our Pee Wee Bombers are 2-0, our Junior Bombers are 2-0, our Senior Bombers are 0-2, but they look pretty good this week. They will also be having a fundraiser on October 5th at Blue 42. 20% of all proceeds will be given to the Elmwood Park Bombers from 8:30 until close. So if you have an opportunity to go out there and enjoy some good food, good drink, and there'll be a DJ going on. And next year, I'd like to remind everybody that our Elmwood Park Bombers will be 60 years old. So stay tuned for an exciting announcement. So, and then lastly, because we didn't get a chance to do this publicly, I'd like to say welcome aboard to our new councilman, Mr. Bob Burke. Welcome aboard. Progress, Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Pellegrini?
Yes. My Board of Health update. They had their meeting on September 10th. We have a new health inspector, Steve Salerno. We all welcomed him. The next rabies clinic is Wednesday, November 28th from 5 to 7 p.m. at Fire Company Number 4 on Mola Boulevard. The next flu clinic is October 15th from 6 to 7 p.m. right here in Council Chambers. Medicare is accepted. Fee for residents not on Medicare is $25. Their next meeting is October 8th at 7 p.m. My police update. A walking post has been implemented at the shopping centers on Broadway to reduce crime in that area. Having our officers patrolling on foot and being very visible to our residents has made them feel safer. This is a positive, proactive approach for a safer community, and that's what everyone was speaking about before. And how do I know the residents feel safer? Because several of them have told me they've seen this, and they really do have a more sense of security when they're up there. So that's a really great thing our police department is doing. After tonight's hire for the school security officer, there will now be an armed retired police officer in each of our schools, another proactive measure to keep everyone safer. This is a joint effort among the mayor, council, the police department, and the school administration. So now there is an officer in every school. In the middle school and high school, one will be staggered for like afternoon events so that they'll be there longer in the day. So this is a very good thing that we're working on all together as a team, making everything safer. Our police chief will also be scheduling a meeting with the Chamber of Commerce in November. The purpose of this meeting is to give safety tips to all of our businesses to help prevent crime. This is another proactive measure for a safer community. And last, we had our department head meeting on September 11th. Much information was shared, always a very productive meeting. Our department heads work very well together and are always coming up with solutions to any situations that come before the table. Also on September 11th, I had a meeting about the Residence Assistance Program that I've been talking about. Final details are being put in place to execute this program. At our October 4th work meeting, I will discuss details and have a newsletter for the mayor and council to see and to approve. I've been working very closely with the chief and our JIF coordinator to finalize this program. This is a joint effort between the entire mayor and council, our police department, and our schools. Giving back to our residents is something I can say that we are all passionate about. I am very excited about this program, and I am proud to say we are all working together as a team to get this program off and running. Thank you. Progress.
I was also really happy that we hired a fifth school officer. This was proactively started back in August of 2016, where we discussed it and passed Resolution 294-16, approving a shared service with our schools, where we hired 2 special law enforcement officers. Then back in July of 2017, we hired 3 school retired officers, and we've been hiring them ever since 2016. So I'm glad, as a mother of young children who are going to be entering school, that we will now have 1 in every school. We've reached our 5. On behalf of the ambulance, they also have a Blue 42 fundraiser back next Tuesday, September 25th, starting at 8 p.m. So go there, like Councilman Dombrowski said, enjoy some good food, drinks, and company, and you support them. They are in a dire need for volunteers. The previous ones have even moved or gone on in their professions. Please call 201-796-8077 if you're looking to get involved in the community. They would greatly appreciate it. On a from the Personnel Committee, we had multiple meetings between the Personnel Committee and the White Collar Union representation regarding their contract, and we've come to an agreement to a 5-year contract that acknowledges the people who truly run the borough on a day-to-day basis and provide our community with services they need. I want to thank Carrie and Connie Carpenter for working with us. They represented the employees. I would also like to thank Keith Kasmark, who literally helped settle the contract right 2 days before he departed the borough. We also met back on August 31st to discuss advertisement for Mr. Kasmark's replacement. We're soliciting resumes. It's been on the league website, the borough website, so on and so forth. Until October 10th, you could submit your resume for that. I do want to thank the fire department. They put together a lovely 9/11 candlelight vigil. It was nice for all of our community to come together to remember the horrific events of that day and honor all of those who perished on that day in an intimate community setting. So thank you for that. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. The Vice Ready.
Okay, again, I'd like to congratulate the EP crew on their championship. I hope to see them back here again next year. Also, welcome again, Bob. We get to continue to work together. And congratulations again, welcome to our newest officer, Houselander. On my recreation report, this Saturday, September 22nd, we will be having music and a food truck festival from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. There will be 20 vendors, face painting, and 3 bands, Touch of Grey, Total Soul, and Egomania. So please come out and have a great time with the other residents. The travel soccer teams are doing very well. Recreation soccer has begun. On September 28th, the recreation will have a movie, Under the Stars, Hotel Transylvania. Hut repairs and construction are underway, and for our DPW, there have been some concerns of grass juice drippings from the truck. 80% of the grass drippings is water and the rest is solid. Please cover pails to ensure not to have extra water collecting in the barrels. The DPW is also dumping the truck several times a day to avoid additional water. The street sweeper will be out every week until the end of leaf season. Repairs continue in our parks, and all the stop signs have been installed according to the recent ordinance. And I also want to just mention that tonight we did appoint our task force for stigma-free. This has been a great initiative, and I want to thank Nadja, who's been the president of Elmwood Park Takes Action, because we had a tough start, and she always hung in there, and I'm just so happy to see it's up and running, and thank you to everyone who has joined on to the task force. And what they will do is they will help us to spread the word of awareness of mental illness. And so we're very excited about different events coming up, and you'll see we'll be posting that on social media. Please look to attend our meetings. We had one, it's usually the third Thursday at 6 o'clock downstairs in the all-purpose room. And if you want to learn more, you're welcome to reach out to me, because I am the liaison for Stigma Free. And we'll keep you posted on what's going on in the community. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mayor. Thank you. I'm not sure exactly when I was supposed to do it, if it was after the resolutions or during my committee report, but I'm sure that many of you in the public here have heard about the offensive and racial statements that have been caught on tape by the Bergen County Sheriff Officer Michael Sordino. Personally, as somebody who immigrated here, as some of us on the dais did as well, I've been taken back and offended by his egregious statements. And in light of that, and the many public officials who have demanded Sheriff Sordino's resignation today, I'm requesting, Mayor, if you could call for a vote here tonight by the mayor and the council demanding that Sheriff Sordino immediately resigns. So I'd like to, if you allow it, Mayor, call for a motion to ask for a vote for Sheriff Sordino to resign.
Is everyone familiar with the facts? I mean, I know I am, but
I don't know all the
I
facts.
really don't know.
I've only heard rumors about it. I haven't seen it yet.
I have
I haven't seen anything. I've heard the rumors about it. I haven't heard any of the comments or the statements personally.
Well, I wanted to call for a motion to take a vote to send our sentiment for the immediate resignation of Sheriff Sordino.
Do we know the facts, what's going on? Are you familiar with that?
I'm not ready to vote on that yet, Mayor. I don't know
haven't
enough
heard
about it. I
anything on
haven't
any
seen it.
facts.
Maybe disapprove.
I haven't seen it. I understand it's on the news. I haven't been home to see it.
Me neither.
It's a little bit premature, I don't know.
It just came out today.
Yeah, all right. I'm sorry. No.
If you want to suggest that at the next meeting, I'll have more information, but I
No.
can't vote on that right now.
I'm ready to vote for it, so that's why I asked.
I'm sorry, I'm not as prepared as you.
Okay. Mr. Goldberg?
Thank you, Mayor. On that point, and again, everyone has different access to different media, I did read all the facts, but I wouldn't impose on anyone here on the council who hasn't read the articles and whatnot. I agree with you 1,000% that the comments were despicable and he should resign. But I don't want to impose on someone who hasn't read the articles or whatever. I'm sure when everyone does read it, they would have the same exact opinion. You know, if this happened 2 or 3 days ago, I think we would be in a different spot, but this came out at 2 o'clock. But to your point, the comments were despicable, and he should resign immediately. Okay, on the Board of Education front, I understand the superintendent search process is still ongoing. I know they're at some phase of the interview process. No announcement has been made, so we have to wait and see where that ends up. Also regarding the Board of Education, kind of the borough, we approved tonight the contract to execute the open space grant we received from Open Space, Bergen County Open Space, for the joint tennis court construction project. We waited patiently for that to be approved. Just under $198,000 was that grant. We have the paperwork. We know we're going to get it. So the next step, we'll proceed to scheduling a meeting between the borough and the Board of Education, whoever they wish to bring, as well as our engineer, to try to get the design phase. If we move along at a healthy pace, this is something that we could have accomplished hopefully in the early spring. We have an advertisement on the League of Municipalities for a business administrator. The residents can look up the requirements themselves, but really it's a catch-all. Obviously, with the vacancy of that position, and as a joint position, the BA and the clerk left us with the need to advertise. And if the residents read it, it's really a catch-all. We're looking to get diverse applicants from all different walks of life who could fill this job on a full-time or a part-time basis, who may have a clerk's license, who may not have a clerk's license. By starting broad and up above, we'll be able to sort through what we get and make decisions accordingly from there. So that's happening. I was not able to attend the last 2 planning board meetings in their entirety, but as the liaison, I will report that the Riverfront apartment complex has come to the planning board to start the process of what they're looking to construct. My understanding is that the board is being extremely thorough with them and asking a lot of questions and really putting their feet to the fire to substantiate a lot of the claims they're making, to substantiate a lot of the requirements that they have to do by various areas of the law. So I commend the planning board for doing that, and I commend you, Mayor, for appointing people to the planning board who have knowledge of these matters, who can ask specific questions. I don't know if we've necessarily had that throughout our history of Elmwood Park, so I'm happy on that front. To my colleague, Councilwoman Ballesteri, you really took the stigma-free concept and ran with it. I know we had a dedicated group of residents who have been working hard to promote mental health and promote stigma-free, but as an elected official, you kind of gathered all the energy and you took it to the next level. And I think we're already ahead of so many of our neighboring towns, and I hear from neighboring council people in different towns who are looking to catch up to us with some things that we're doing and some things they're hearing. So that's very positive movement on that front. With that, Mayor, progress.
Thank you. Mr. Randazzo? Progress. First, we already congratulate a new police officer, Matthew, and I wish him the best and good luck, and I hope he lasts with us forever. And I just want to congratulate Miss Pellegrini. Tomorrow, Matthew is getting married, my ex-student, Il Capitano, Captain Matthew Pellegrini. Tomorrow's wedding. Congratulations to you and the family, and good luck. And we have the stigma-free task force that I appoint. Maybe I should read the names to you. This way know who they are. I got my name on the first list here. Francesco A. Caramagna, I know this guy. Sandra Balistrieri, she's a stigma-free liaison. Nadia Capan Lopez, EP takes action, and Stalin Guzman, EP takes action, and Yamilet Capan Lopez, EP takes action. Christopher Liptak, Elmwood Park Police Department. Peter Pais, Elmwood Park Volunteer Ambulance Corps. Chief William Shadwell, Elmwood Park Fire Department. Doreen Aspas, Elmwood Park Board of Education. Denise Ingui, Rare is Beautiful. Jeff Leader, Let Them Be a Little. Denise Ingui, Elmwood Park Board of Health. Doris Wechler, Elmwood Park Library Board. Maurice Praviero, Elmwood Park Recreation Advisory Board. Kathleen Miller, Keene University student. Nick Balistrieri, Felician University student. Pastor Mike Capron, as a clergy, First Presbyterian Church, Elmwood Park. And there will be, I guess we have an opening here from Elmwood Park Chamber of Commerce. Danielle Leva, student assistant, guidance counselor, Elmwood Park Middle School. And Lorraine Pellegrini, EP takes action, member of councilwoman. Nobody else. Thank you very much, and thank you for this. Finally, this is in place, and we're very proud of this. Thank you to all of you. I guess everybody's the same. One thing, I just want to congratulate Del Fava. He's retired from DPW. Also, Del Fava, we have Dean Sestaro and Robert Creci. I want to wish them good luck in their retirement and thank them for their service to this borough. The rest, nothing else. Thank you. Open to the public? Okay. May I have a motion to open the floor to the public?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, do we need a call roll?
Yes.
Burke?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Jean Domenico?
Yes.
Pellegrini?
Yes.
Gullivec?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Is anyone from the public who wishes to be heard?
Testing.
It's working.
Keith Work, 308 Gilbert Avenue. First, I'd like to congratulate Bob Burke for being sworn in to serve the Balance of Anthony Turtle's term. I'm sure that he will do well serving the residents of Elmwood Park as he has on the Board of Rec. Been here for so many, many years. I worked with Bob for so many, many years, so I know he'll do well. I'd also like to congratulate Officer Michael Orlander for his appointment as a new Elmwood Park police officer. Hope he has a successful and safe career with the Elmwood Park Police Department. And congratulations to the champions of the Morris County Youth Soccer Association. It's always nice to see Elmwood Park kids succeed, do well, and I've been involved with the Bombers, baseball, football, and always like to see the Elmwood Park kids succeed. And also like to commend Maggie Gio, Domenico, and Anthony Churto. I know that they're persistent pursuit of one certificate of selling marijuana in Elmwood Park. I know the mayor and council finally decided to prohibit the sale of marijuana in the last work session, but why delay? We know marijuana can be a problem. And the only concern that our legislature seems to be concerned with right now, 98% approved, but they're concerned about taxes. But they're not concerned about the health of the people of New Jersey and Elmwood Park. That's my major concern. It should have been a delay. It should never be a delay. I don't care if you're going to wait for a law to come from our governor and legislature.
No,
we're not.
I'm sorry. It should not be a delay. The way marijuana is going to be a major problem. It's going to be a problem for the police department. It's going to be a problem for people. It's going to be how to determine if they're too high or not high enough. There's no way to test for it. You have a major problem in Oregon right now. They have no idea who's selling it. They have no idea who's using it. It's in the schools. You read the articles about Oregon, they have major issues. I think we should try to avoid it here. I wish the state would improve it. I know that we're 90% there, but I'm totally against it.
May I ask?
I coach kids,
Yeah.
and I think drugs, it leads to the next drug. They want to get that one high, they want to get the next high. We have a problem. We have a drug problem. We have people overdosing all over this country. That's what I'm worried about.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes.
Is it legalized today?
No, it's not.
So why is it too late? Why are we too late?
It's not too late. Why
Well, we took a proactive measure.
Why wait?
It's not. We wanted to make sure what the law entailed. We said it when we first tabled it. We were looking to make sure, listen, I understand everything you're saying. I voted originally to say we should have 2 ordinances ready to go. But the thing that stays the same is we wanted to make sure what was coming down the pike. That's what we were waiting for, and we found out what it is. Now we're banning it. It's not too late. The law is the law. The facts are the facts. We are not too late.
No, but still, it's a problem. Why wait?
I'm not arguing with you. That's why we did this. That is why we took the proactive measure tonight. I don't understand your point.
My point, why
The law doesn't take effect until January. We're sitting here in September. It's not a delay. We will be ready once the law comes down that we are going to prohibit it in Elmwood Park. We're doing what we're supposed to do. It's not a delay. Listen, if the law was passed last month and we did this now, I'll agree with you. That there was a delay. There is no delay. The law is not the law yet.
I wouldn't blame you. Sorry. Thank you.
Is anyone else? Oh, I can see somebody else. You walk better, Jimmy.
The judge getting busy tonight, Jason. I agree on this marijuana thing. It's got me. It is a gateway drug. And I think we're doing the right thing. What I think we should do, instead of everybody fighting about this, like Joe says, it's not there yet. Well, it's not the law yet. Let's not fight about what we're going to do in this town. Maybe everybody should get together and go down there to Trenton and tell them we don't want this. Because Governor Murphy, maybe he doesn't know what it's like to sit up every night for that knock on the door that your son's dead. But I do. Okay? I don't agree with the marijuana. What I want to ask the judge is, we're not going to be able to sell it in town. Is it going to be completely illegal in town? Like, Are we gonna be able to enforce any of these laws?
It's the ban of
It's a ban of selling.
selling.
Selling and growing.
What people do on their private property is not the local, a town can't do anything with that. I mean, I would see to the attorney.
Well,
The state law allows it, you can't ban it.
but I think by us banning it today is sending a message to the governor saying that we don't want it here.
I think
So,
we're the 31st community that said, we don't want it. So 31 communities need to go to Trenton and tell him, we don't want it.
we just did.
I know. and he
We
wants
just
it.
did.
It's all about what happens.
We don't want it, Jimmy, we don't want it.
We don't want it.
I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Okay.
You know, it's terrible, but I just don't understand. What are the police gonna do? How do you know God? How do they know? What about all the people, like the judge knows, what about all the cases going on right now? It's gonna be a nightmare, but be that as it may.
Elmwood Park, we don't want it. We fight to the end.
So we can't control it, but they won't be able to do it on the street or anything, like you can buy it at a store and then go home and smoke it or whatever.
It's like if
They ain't
you,
gonna be able to walk down the street smoking.
you can't walk down the street drinking beer now, so it would be pretty much, I guess, the same concept. I don't know.
I don't understand how the governor has this authority to do this, what I just.
Well, there's a legislature. We all elect our assembly people, senators, and, you know, in the end, people have to put their vote to it. So, you know, we read about it.
Every election, because there's a lot of communities now that say.
Listen, they tried same-sex marriage, I think, 6 times in the legislature. Every time it was a done deal. So, I mean, who knows if marijuana is even going to happen? You know, they say it's 98%, but, you know, that's optics for the papers, so.
Worried about is how much money we're gonna get. Okay. Number 2, I just wanted to ask you, Danny, I know your son do a lot in control of the Board of Ed.
Yes.
So I have questions for the Board of Ed that I want to ask them, but since you're the liaison there, the Board of Ed gave the town of Elmwood Park back $1 million this year.
Didn't give the
That's correct.
they didn't give the town per se. In March or April, and Ms. Freitag, feel free to correct me, but I think I'm going to explain this correctly. They passed a tax levy of a certain amount, whatever the amount was. And then in late June, early July, they learned that they had $3.5 million of new state aid coming.
Right.
So at that point, they decided that whatever the tax levy was that was approved, because their budget's July 1 to June 30th, whatever that tax levy was going to drop by $1 million. So there was still a slight increase from the previous year, because I think the tax levy went up 1 point something, and this just dropped at $1 million. So essentially, before the state aid came into the picture, your taxes were going to, and I don't know the exact number, but let's just say for argument's sake it was 100. Because of this $1 million, it'll now be more like in the lower teens. So there's still a slight increase to the levy, to the, you know.
So we didn't pay this extra $1 million in our taxes.
We collect $1 million less than they intended to in March or April.
Because what a lot of people are saying is, well, then I want my part of that $1 million back.
It's not a rebate check, it's just,
Well, we have an extra $1 million.
right, well, it's,
They lowered their rate, and that's what I figured, because we're getting $3.5 million extra dollars.
right.
So they basically gave it back.
They lowered the amount that they initially planned to raise.
They pay that tax money. The taxpayers never paid that $1 million.
No,
Because the budget year didn't start till July 1st. And I know the borough and the Board of Ed there's like because we're on an annual year, they're on a July 1st to June 30th. So there's always, and I would let the CFO at some point explain this if you needed that, because I can't articulate that.
People are saying 7,200 homes.
Sure.
Gave $1 million. We got $1 million. So we want, you know.
So the answer is, if the state didn't give us 3.5, their taxes would have went up by a lot, I mean, you know, a number over 100, but now they're going to go up a number somewhere in the teens. All correlated to what your house is worth, by the way, you know. So that's more or less.
Maybe, so that's why make it clear. The council doesn't have an extra $1 million of your money sitting in it somewhere.
No,
That's not what happened.
no, unless I'm proven, you know, wrong. But right.
Are we doing a test? Or are we just?
Well, I think the commitment we made at that August meeting, you know, for a few reasons, is that we would re-advertise. So the extension of the appointment of 30 days just gives us that time. As I'm sure you can appreciate, a lot has happened in August with a bunch of things. So I think we will put that language out onto the website and try to accomplish this in the month of October.
Right, but you're going to be calling for interviews, so is there going to be is it a civil service service
Well,
says.
so after we go through the interview process and pick somebody, then whatever civil service requires should naturally kick in. There's a connection there, right? Because it's a civil service position.
We don't pick somebody for a job before we give them a test.
Well, this is how it works. You appoint someone, and then a test has to be called within a certain amount of days.
Okay, now also at that meeting, you were very specific.
Right.
There were some problems here, and we all get that. Everybody children, we make mistakes. But because of that, we were gonna change who was gonna interview these candidates.
Right.
You told us that.
Sure.
There's gonna be 3 new people, so we don't have this problem.
Right.
First of all, I'm not saying you will be, but you already, the 3 people that are on that, you already picked who you want. So it's still in your heart whether you're gonna re-interview or not. You said to the public, we are gonna give 3 new people to do these interviews. And
Right.
the question on top of that is, when we do these interviews for people, especially for a fire marshal, do we go a little further, do background checks and things on these people? Do we talk to their employers? Do we ask them what kind of people they are? Do we do background checks on them?
We do whatever is legally required for any position, and
Because it's legal, doesn't mean we don't want to ask what kind of employees.
that's listen. I mean, we're the appointing authority in the end. So whatever extra steps someone wants to do that are legal to learn about a candidate or candidates is, it's if someone applies with references, they give references for a reason, and then if someone wants to take the step and do that. But to your point about the 3 names, I think we have to discuss this either at the fire committee or at the first October work session. But being that this is so popular in Elmwood Park, because I can't go anywhere without someone stopping me, not anywhere, but the people that are involved in town, we may want to have the entire mayor and council make a decision
It's popular
together.
for a reason, and one of the reasons is because, like, with the appointment tonight of our special officer, we need people.
Sure.
And this fella's given 11 years of his
Right.
life to this town and community, and I know some people say, well, it should be who's best qualified, but when people give their time to the town, they deserve things too. And we have people that were in that office that were here a lot longer than the fellow you appointed. They're in the office, besides other people that asked for it, that have given 50 years of their life to this community.
Right. I think whenever you
I
hire,
think the process is being done right.
Mr. D'Amico, any hiring process, you have to weigh everything. You weigh their experience, you weigh what they say they're going to do, you weigh the years of town service to the town.
Their
None of-
certifications?
None of that gets 100%. We weigh it equally, and we all have in our heads what matters more, and we come to decisions. I mean,
And I think
that's the best way to do it.
Somebody that we should check their references on any job in town. You get a job, you have to check their references.
Sure.
You have to talk to their people.
No doubt.
Nothing against this fellow, I don't even know him. I don't know who he is, I don't know anything about him. I just know he's been in town a very short time. There were other people in that office that maybe they deserve the job better because they've been there a long time. And then we have other firemen that want this job that have given a real lot to this community, and I think they should be considered. And you told us that's what you were gonna do. You were gonna change the committee that does the interview.
The process will certainly be different, but, we owe it to ourselves to have that conversation.
You're not gonna do that. You're not gonna go.
Well, see, here's the thing. It is such a,
I don't think Councilwoman Ballestieri, Councilwoman Pellegrini, and we have a new councilman.
Right.
Would have any problem interviewing these candidates.
I mean, they can speak for themselves if they want, but the reality is,
Do they have a problem?
the reality is, because this is, for whatever reason, a very, charged issue, I think it would be smart for every person to be able to look the audience in the eye at the end of the day, whoever it is, and say, we listened to 5 people, we listened to 6 people, a majority of the council feels it's this person. Because I think that's the most responsible route this way, because it is such a charged issue.
It is.
So, I mean, for police officers, we have sometimes committee level, then the full council. Everyone listens to the police officers. Listen,
Please do it right. There were phone calls went to people, you don't have the job. There were phone calls went to other people, the same night you do have the job. And then other people weren't even interviewed yet.
Well, that's-
Now, come on, we know it's the truth. We know what happened, and it's not right, and we should have a new committee interviewing the new people for this job.
And that's why we have an interim official currently. So that is why we have an interim official currently, because by statute, we must have an official on the books.
I agree with that.
And that's why we pulled back that night and said what we were going to do.
You're not doing it now.
Who said that?
We should have a new committee, 3 new people, interview all the people.
Again, in the end, a lot of people care about what happens with this position. Every council person should be able to look you in the eye and say, I made the right decision because I listened to everyone. I think we're even taking a more inclusive step.
Okay, so that's what we're doing, the whole council.
Well, again, we have to,
We haven't
to talk, we're talking out loud here in a sense, but we need to, as a group, like finalize that in the month of October, probably October 4th or even before that. So,
It has nothing to do with civil service.
It's a civil service job.
at this point, no, because at this point, this is the borough, and then when that happens, certain civil service things kick in.
Police officers, state judge, correct me if I'm wrong, police officers,
Mr.
state...
Nico, you can't call me judge, you have to call
Oh,
me
I'm sorry,
attorney.
that's respect, that's what I...
Thank you, I appreciate it, but it's not possible.
Police officers take a test first, and then if they pass the test, they're considered for the job. So you telling me this job doesn't work that way? That's what you're saying. We hire them, then they take the test.
inaccurate?
No, you appoint the person, and then civil service could call for the test, and if you did it wrong, they'll correct it. But it's not, my understanding is it does not require you call the test first and then make the appointment. You can make the appointment and then call the test. That's my understanding.
And you'll let the public know what the process is gonna be. Because you said some people weren't even being called back for the interview.
No, I said that there may be a few that,
Well, it's a
We don't call back.
re-advertisement, so we don't know what's going to come in. I mean, the job ad is public. You know, I'm sure something will be said at the next October work session, so, you know, I'm sure you'll know every step of this, Mr. D'Amico. I'm positive of it, one way or another.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, George Watami, come here.
who gets there first? Good job, Kenny. There you go. Respect. No, the one that's up top,
What
George.
was the other one? You're too tall. Put it down. This one?
I
First,
don't know.
a story to Sable Court. I'd like to welcome Bob Burke to the council. I knew him since he was a little kid. He's the finest gentleman you can have.
Try that one.
I'd like to ask, what's the latest? First of all, I'd like to commend you for your resolution on recreational marijuana. I think that was great. And the noise resolution. I think both of those help with the quality of life in our town. The third thing, you have a police officer walking in the Elmwood shopping center.
Mr. Nestori, I don't want to jump in, but we can't get into the specifics of how those things happen. Generally, there's walking details on Broadway, but the chief has explicitly told us not to get into how many, how often, and all
Let me tell
that.
you what happened when I was on the council. They had a walking police officer in the same area. And what we did is we ended up getting motorcycles because he was able to respond to any emergency or go after anybody without running after somebody. He was much more visible, and he was much more versatile as far as what goes on over there in that area. So I would like to let you guys know that maybe you talk to the chief and see if a motorcycle would be proper for the guy that's walking the beat up there. It would make him much more efficient. The third thing is there anything happening with the resident parking?
Yeah, I answered that, George. I spoke to Tom Dutch, and he's waiting for me next week sometime. We're supposed to have a meeting with him. So, and I told you, I'll let you know when, okay?
Thank you. And the other thing is, you still have this town planner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk with him to see how we can upgrade the apartment complexes legally? Because I go to other towns like Pass, the one that has Heights, the New Milford, River Edge. These places are much nicer looking than the ones we have. And the complex the apartment complex on Linden Ave is really starting to deteriorate. So if there's anything we can do, let this plan give you your options legally, what you can do to upgrade those facilities. Now, this big complex that's coming up, on River Road, how many units is that going to be?
380, yes, sir. 380.
380?
Yes.
Now, the sewer system, is that going to be separate going across the river to the State Valley Sewer Commission?
Mr. Nestori, this is what the planning board has been bringing up to them to get some more clarification as far as water pressure, sewer system. All of that has got to be taken care of long before they get the approval from the planning board. This planning board is really grilling them and making sure that there is going to be water pressure, making sure that it doesn't overload the system, making sure that there's drainage. Believe me, if you come to a planning board meeting on a Wednesday night, folks, they are grilling these people. Trust me.
Well, Joe, what I'm worried about is that our sewer system is overtaxed, pretty well overtaxed. And another 300 and some units feeding into that same sewer system is going to be a major problem.
And I commend the mayor because one of the persons that he's put on this planning board happens to be a former DPW superintendent who knows exactly what's going on down there. He was a part of it before when we had no water pressure. So again, I commend the mayor for putting this person onto the board. As I said, Mr. Nestori, I really have a lot of faith in this planning board because they're really grilling them.
All right. That's all. Thank you.
You don't want to know. I got a lot of issues.
What's your name? What's your...
I'm 34 Locust Street. I'm a pop. And I want to say hello to the mayor, hello councilman, hello council lady, and this is me, Tiffin, and Paul, I have to ask. One, you forget this one problem, you never took care of it. You did say you were gonna get it, and we never got it.
What is that?
Sound barriers on Route 80.
Oh, Sunday.
The sound barriers on Route 80?
Yes.
Okay.
And that was going, the mayor was going ahead with it and everything, and something happened.
Kenny, in January, I sent a letter to the governor, and I think sometime in February, I received an answer. Yeah, they somehow approved that. Now, I think it takes a long time. You know, sound barrier, talking about a lot of money. So, but Kenny, I'm trying very hard, really. Trust me. I'm on top of it. I call the governor's office many times on this, and I remind them.
But the interview did say we were gonna get it.
Yeah, I hope
He
we
said
get
it for
soon.
45 years.
We were gonna get it. We never did.
And I think, Kenny, when we will be getting them is that the state is currently planning an expansion on Route 80 West when you go towards Woodland Park and Patterson area. And when they start that, that's when they would actually look into expending the, the sound barriers and putting them up. So the efforts of Mayor Mola, the efforts of our current mayor, they're in process, but once the state expands it, that's when they would do it. It's a state issue. We don't have much control over it.
No, but I'm just saying, you wanna know about noise, that is noise. The trucks go by all night long, and you hear noise.
I know. You're right.
That's not.
We understand.
And another thing I had, another problem with noise, I had last night, on my local street, I had racing going on, car racing. And you had a one-man engine like very loudly, and racing on my road, racing down the road. racing with the Indian blessing and loud noises. And I said, my God, what is this? It's like a highway now? We're gonna highway on my street? And up the street, it's a one-way street. And there's another found one local street that nobody forgets about. And nobody stops anymore at that stop sign. I've seen so many cars just go right by it, the stop sign. They don't stop. I've seen so many times a car go by. And then we got not one, we got two stop signs on that corner. And no stopping at all. I see so many cars just racing right out. Racing right out. Don't stop. I said, this is ridiculous. No stopping, they keep going. And then the cops come by, they wait here, and they kept going out, and meanwhile the cops don't do nothing. They let them go.
I'm sure if they see that, they will stop.
And they almost got hit, the cop car. That's how bad it was. Almost got hit. And I see it. In front of my house. All the time. And yeah, one more thing to ask you.
That's 4.
When people get off duty on the police cars, please tell them don't speed down that road and go down to the parking lot to park the stupid cars. It's ridiculous. All night long, you sitting running in.
Kenny, I will do that. That's easy. That's easy request.
Because
Will be done.
that's the truth.
All right.
And another thing, Mayor, one more thing you have to do for me. My family's birthday is gonna be January 3rd, this next year, January 3rd.
How old is she gonna
And
be?
she's gonna be 100 years old.
Wow.
So you would give her like a paper?
Of course. It's my honor to do that, yes.
And she worked for the police department as a crossing guard, too, in town.
Very nice. Remind me, okay? No problem, Kenny.
All right?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
But I just want to tell you about that. I mean, this is truth. A lot of stuff there is no good.
Okay, Kenny, thank you, thank you.
And
Anyway.
right around here, it is a funny part.
I know. Thank you, Kenny.
Right in action follow. That's Jeffrey Freitag. I'll talk later.
We don't, no concern over that.
Okay, I know I come up here, ask a lot of questions sometimes, and maybe point out some things, but this time I have something good to say. There were potholes in a particular area of town in Birchwood on my street, around by St. Leo's Church. I photographed them on my phone, I sent them to the particular website, or email address, I should say, to the website. Ms. Despoco answered me back, and I have to say they were fixed today within a week. So it's a good thing. I appreciate the DPW, and I appreciate the hard work that was done to accomplish that. But thank you, and thank you, DPW. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mayor, I just forgot one thing. Everybody here tonight, just please, we had a pedestrian get killed, everybody knows, on Route 4. Just keep their family here tonight, because it was a terrible, terrible thing. The children were there at the scene and everything. Just keep that family here for everyone.
Thank you, thank you. I guess if anyone else is, want to be heard, I will close the public portion.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
On the roll call, Valesarian?
Yes.
Burke? Dombrowski?
Yes.
Jean Domenico?
Yes.
Pellegrin? Yes. Gullivec?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Remember, this meeting is being videotaped. It will be on Cablevision Channel 77 on Tuesdays at 12 p.m., Thursdays at 9 a.m., and Fridays 8 a.m. The video is also on files in the same time slots. The video is also available on the borough website, www.emoparknj.us. Good night, everybody. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Second?
Good night. Thank you.
Birthday cake, my sons are away. My 10-year-old.
Oh, Joe. No, no, no.